The Gen Z stare. We gotta run it back on this channel as well. All right, look, I know I made this video on the duck already if you're a viewer of the duck, but honestly, I just couldn't find anything else. And you know, I mean, the video, it did pretty good. So yeah, we gotta do it again. Now, if you've never heard of the Gen Z stare in your entire life, you essentially just look at somebody like this due to being tired, fed up, or you could be on a completely different planet. It's like a deer in the headlights type of look. But yeah, TikTok has been debating about this for 10 days at this point, and people are debating what the Gen Z stare actually is.
I think it's fucking hilarious watching all of the like older generations or even anyone in general talking about the Gen Z stare, specifically in customer service environments, saying that we don't really know how to talk to people, we can't communicate, and no.
So that's what everyone has been saying, that Gen Z can't communicate. Can't. Not like, all right, we're bad at it. Like, yeah, fair enough. We are bad at socializing. But there's no way you're gonna sit here on your damn TikTok accounts and talk about how the entire generation has an incapability to communicate. Like, cannot communicate at all.
We can communicate quite well, actually. You're just fucking stupid. And you've decided to show up to this establishment with your last 2 remaining brain cells from 1954. You're stupid. And we just can't say that because we are at our job.
So that's basically what most of Gen Z is saying the Gen Z stare is. Someone walks in, they're on their last 2 brain cells, they're being a complete asshole to you, and you just zone out and you're just trying not to get angry at them and crash out and lose your job. Which honestly, let's just keep it a buck. Like, the amount of times I've almost gotten mad at my job because someone was just being a dick, bro. Like, and definitely in this context, I could see why someone does the Gen Z stare.
So that's why we're staring at you. For example, I had a party of 15 that I was taking care of the other day, and they were chill. Nothing was wrong. You know, drinks, appetizers, and whatnot. But one older lady decides to join them a little bit later. Not a big deal. She sits down. I go ahead and grab a menu. I go over to the table and I introduce myself. Hi, my name's Jaden. I'm going to be taking care of you. I have orders in for these guys, but can I get you something? Or are we not eating today? I have a menu in my hand, like I say. And she looks at me and she says, well, are you going to give me a fucking menu so I can decide if I want any?
Okay, think about that. You're in that interaction. You have to save that shit. We know the amount of times it's just like repeat rude customers. Like, at some point, you're gonna get fed up and not even want to respond to them. Because if I'm in this scenario, I have a goddamn menu in hand. Menu is in hand, and some lady's bitching at me to give me the menu. You can bet there's very minimal dialogue that will be leaving my mouth and in and out of the restaurant. That's it. Goodbye. But yeah, this is exactly why I never became a waiter, and I picked a cashier. All I gotta do is read them the total, and that's it. I could really say nothing if I wanted to. And being a cashier in those type of situations really came in handy. Because I just hit the Gen Z stare.
Can I get a bowl with beef, rice, beans, and guac? Our system is down, so we can't accept cards, only cash. I don't carry cash.
I mean, if the interaction's over, I mean, you just put an end to it by saying you don't carry cash. So, all right, no more service. Goodbye. Card machine's down. There's probably a sign somewhere. I know they were probably supposed to tell you before the order or whatever, but look, they probably just found out. You know, I just do it when people are rude. Like, why am I to take my sweet, precious time to process a response for your bitch ass? Like, I'm good. Like, if you don't respect me, I don't respect you. End of story. But, like, I don't know. Was she, like, aiming this at Gen Z? This was supposed to be a skit, like, bashing Gen Z. And she ended up being in the wrong in her own skit. Like, I mean, I probably would say, like, oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, have a good day now. That's probably it. But, like, I don't know. Some people, I don't know. They're having a bad day. Like, and they're in goddamn customer service. Like, obviously, some people might not be in the greatest mood ever. So they might just be holding back the anger. And, of course, you know, you have older gens arguing that this isn't it at all. Which I don't know why you're making this into a big deal.
Hi, how are you? Can I get a kid's cheeseburger Happy Meal with no onions? My daughter has like this weird onion allergy, so I just want to make sure those aren't on there. And a Sprite to drink, please.
Okay. There is no way in hell this happened. I mean, like, maybe they took like a couple seconds to process what you said. Maybe. But there's no way they just stared at you for 10 seconds and then came back to earth. But maybe if they're like faded on the job, this might happen. They like hit the cart before they went in. I don't know. But you know what? There's a reason they call it skits. Because, bro, this shit did not happen, dog.
Okay.
Yeah, we're 28 seconds into this footage, and we got one word out of this supposed Gen Z worker. The oldest person in Gen Z is 28. Majority of Gen Z is in their 20s. So, like, can we just agree that, you know, top 5 things that never happened? Number 1, this. But yeah, sometimes people might be a little bit lackluster at the counter. Like, you know, they might have had a bad day or some shit. Like, whatever. As long as they do their job, bro. It's not that deep. Like, are you really that entitled to the point where you think you're gonna get, like, some prime MJ and Pippin type of service at the McDonald's? Like, hell no, bro. Like, what? This is the Gen Z stare, by the way. All right, bro, I'm ready. I'm ready to see it.
By the way, this is the Gen Z stare. Hi, how are you today? Okay. What do you want to do today?
There is no way someone just pulled up to the counter and just stared at you. Like, look, man, we suck at socializing, but not this much. Like, look, man, I get it. Gen Z, yes, like, Gen Z social skills are lacking, but it's not this much. Like, can we at least all admit that this is an exaggeration? Like, you act like we just spawned in, like, we lived our whole lives online, and this is, like, our first time ever going outside. Because, like, bro, there's people even commenting shit like, it's like speaking to a shy toddler. Wow. Do you really think this is worthy of being labeled the entire generation stare? Because yeah, we all do it, bro. We do. And what these older gens fail to realize is no one is relating to this. Nobody. And that's why no one's running with this definition at all. Because we don't do this. You know, sometimes I did zone out at my job and I was like, not on this planet. But like, that's a universal experience. Like, so there's no way they could be talking about zoning out. But yeah, I would be on the other side. I would ask, oh yeah, how's it going? How are we doing? And sometimes I would get no response at all. I was a cashier. Obviously, they don't have to respond to me at all. But you know, if you're ordering a burger or some shit, bro, dog, you gotta say shit, all right? There's this 1 in a million skit happened, of course. Like, that's on you if you can't order a meal. Like, that's something you gotta work on. That's not the Gen Z stare at all. Are they just talking about zoning out at this point? That might be the case. But you're not even paying attention. Like, they're portraying, like, completely scared to say anything, like, at all.
The Gen Z stare is when I walk up to the counter and you just stare at me like you're a bump on a log until I have to ask you if you're ready to take...
Okay, so yeah, that's probably happened to me a handful of times where I had to be the first one to say something. But, like, it was all different types of generations. It wasn't just Gen Z. And yes, they stared at me like I was a bump on the log or whatever. I mean, yeah, they probably had a long day, bro. I don't know. And like I said earlier, bro, it's not going to be like prime Jordan and Pippin with the customer service. Sometimes you might get stared at like you're a bump on a log. You know, people have bad days. Like, you know, just, I mean, yes, it's rude, a little bit rude, but like, just keep it pushing. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
My order. The Gen Z stare is when I call your business and you go, hello? And I don't know that if I accidentally dialed the wrong number because you didn't answer.
I mean, you could double check the number as well. But like, I'm sure this happened in every generation. Like, they probably answered the phone hello when they were first starting. Like, it's just a part of being a noob. What does this even have to do with the Gen Z stare? It's over. This is over the phone, bro. Like, what? Like, you know, sometimes you might mess up on the job. Like, whatever. It happens. But yeah, this is all of this discourse in a nutshell. What Gen Z thinks the stare is versus how we see it. Alright, I don't know, just something about that stare just pissed me off. I zone out all the time, especially when I'm running low on sleep and I'm like 5 hours into a customer service shift. I'm gonna zone out. It's gonna happen. Now, I don't leave my mouth this open when I zone out, bro. I'm sorry. This is not the stare. This isn't it. It's something a lot more blank and disturbed looking, like they just saw a ghost. Because anytime I would get done with a weird customer, because trust me, there are plenty of them, plenty of weird customers. And even the people behind those customers were flustered. They were doing this too. They were doing this too. Because they're like, there's no way this is real. They're doing this army man 1,000-yard stare. And you know, they were all flustered and they were like messing up socially, etc. I don't blame them for that, because like some Karen just crashed out and just stormed out of the store. I would be looking like this too. Or if, I don't know, I had no money in my drawer and they asked for like $100 cash back, and then I have to like run to customer service while I have 4 customers up my ass. Yeah, I don't know. You get the point.
So glad we're finally talking about the Gen Z stare. I have an example that happened in real time. If your For You page looks different than mine, we're talking about the Gen Z stare, where people in the service industry of a certain age don't even say hello to you. They stare at you. Why did I go in to pick up my order at Chipotle and the girl turns her head and just stare.
Boo-hoo. You know, I get we all got bills to pay, we got rent, but I don't know, was this really worth a TikTok, bro? I don't know, they could have been new or some shit, but, you know, they'll figure it out eventually. But obviously, not all the time you're gonna get A1 customer service. Like, we're just, I don't know, they could have just been having a rough day, too. And honestly, if that happens, it's really not that complicated, because it's happened to me with all different types of generations. But honestly, I don't think it's worth a TikTok. Just keep it pushing at this point. Like, do you see me complaining on TikTok because it happened to me? No. I say what I want and I get out. All right, that's it.
At me. I go, hi, I'm picking up for Ashley, and it always just feels like you're inconveniencing them. That's the tone they set when they don't say hello. And I don't care if this makes me a Karen. I'm sick of the argument of they don't get paid enough to be nice. Yeah, but every single job description in the world, especially customer facing, the very first descriptor is greet customers or have some sort of customer service skill.
Okay, Mike's personal experience, all right? Anyone that went to my supermarket with the pulse got hired. Didn't matter if they had some sort of customer service skill, all right? If you're breathing, all right, you're out there, buddy. Let's go. But honestly, sometimes I get aired when I say, how's it going to a cashier? Like, it happens, like, whatever. I've been aired, I just keep it pushing. Some people don't greet me at the counter, like, whatever. It's not that deep. This is the Gen Z stare, by the way.
Hi, welcome in. How is everyone tonight? Can I get you started with something to drink?
All right, some of these videos are just horrendous, and this is one of them, bro. There is no way in a million years this is happening in a restaurant, and this happens with all your Gen Z customers. This happened with nobody, bro. Maybe they took slightly longer than usual to respond. A little bit longer. Because they were off the gas or some shit, or I don't know, they had some shit going on in their mind. Like, there could have been so many different factors, all right? There's no way they just sat there in silence and just complete awkwardness for 20 seconds. Now, I looked at a few comments from this video already in the Duck Gen Z stare video. But man, we gotta look at some more. These were bad. Every day of my life, I wonder if it's people's first time stepping outside. This. What do you mean this? Like, it's like, oh yeah, guys, this is the one right here. Like, all right, there is no way you're gonna act like everyone in Gen Z is like a terminally online gremlin that never gets off their phone. But like, what are you talking about this like this person just preached, bro? There is no way. 28-year-olds, which is the oldest in Gen Z, are stepping into the facility in the restaurant, and then the 28-year-olds just stare at you. They're waiting for their parents to tell you what they want. Okay, never in my life have I ever seen or had to accommodate for somebody and say their order because they were scared to. But yeah, they're really acted like this is how it is. The way they're so committed to misunderstanding what the Gen Z stare is so on point. Thank you for the demo. Holy passive aggressive. I don't know, maybe it's because we don't relate to this at all. Most of the generation is not doing this. Probably like 0.001% is doing this. And of course, they add the little thank you for the demo at the end. All right, this is an awful demo. But yeah, that shit was trash. But essentially, the Gen Z stare just stemmed from people not answering. Millennials that expected to be answered at the counter. And you know, they got really mad about it and posted it. You know, you might get some people that don't answer you. Like, it's a part of life. And it's happened to me with all different types of generations. And at this point, like, can you even call it the Gen Z stare anymore? Or is it more of like a universal customer service thing? But yeah, if you made this far into the video, comment, stare if you made this far. Thank you to my channel members, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.